Now that we've progressed through some of the basics in the kickboxing element of the Jun Fan martial arts, we wind up in the trapping range. So trapping range is defined as that range at which we can manipulate the opponent's arms and hands and whatever, and we're in range to use major tools. So things like elbows, knees, headbutts, that sort of thing are available in this range. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start out right away with the first basic series. Just a note on these series, these are not meant to be mini fights or fight strategies. There are lessons inside of these little sentences, and they're lessons about energy and hand placement, things like that. So traditionally, and that is back in the days with Bruce Lee, they started here like this with an attachment. We no longer do that. So what I found is that once you get the student used to this, they do it all the time. They can't get out of the habit. So we simply start with a Poxao. So Poxao should drive the center line here and present the hit on the center line as well. Whereas Kali would work on an angle point here like that and an angle point here like that. The Jun Fan martial arts works the center line. And the center line is how we make our decisions. So it's either over there or it's not over there, and I'm gonna go straight. So the first set assumes that we're gonna go over on that side. So it's a Poxao. We use the Poxao just to manipulate this hand a little bit. Lapsat, Gamsao Da. So we say Poxao Da, Poxao, Lapsat, Gamsao Da. So as your Poxao and the Da here, or the hit, hits that barrier, there's a little sticking point. So the Poxao, as you turn like that, allows us to get over to this side of that technique. Then we're gonna pull here across the chest and then pin and hit here. You can hit high, low, and high as much as you want. So it's a Poxao, a Poxao, Lapsat, Gamsao Da. If she does it, you Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat, Gamsao Da. Poxao, Lapsao, Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat, Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat, Gamsao Da. Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat, Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat, Poxao, Poxao, Lapsat. We're gonna try and keep this slower in speed today. Most of the time trapping is demonstrated and taught too fast. So people will go through this very quickly and the student gets lost. The student can't see what you just did because the hands move too fast. So if we take it one point at a time, then the elements are visible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next one is for the person that really pushes it over. So we come out with the guachoi. Guachoi is a back fist, and as this is being pushed, we grab this on the way by, let this come in as a back fist, and then pin and hit. The back fist itself is not really the point. It's not whether the back fist is a better blow than any other, than the hammer or the straight punch or whatever. It's that the hand, as it's being pushed, right when that releases, the hand is in position to deliver the back fist. It's the most economical hand shape for that energy. 1, 2, 3, and if she does it, 1, 2, 3. So again, the feed on this is she's pushing it over, so then I'm gonna grab it and hit here. I'm pushing this over and grabbing it here. Push it over and grab it here, push it over and grab it here. So we say Poxao Da, Lapsao Guachoi, Gamsao Da. Poxao Da, Lapsao Guachoi, Gamsao Da, Poxao Lapsao Guachoi, Poxao Lapsao Guachoi. Most people who attend seminars with the JKD family have seen this technique. This is sort of the kindergarten of JKD 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Some people broadcast this out into their main fight strategy. They want to do this, grab the head, headbutt, do all this stuff, and that's their main fight strategy. It's really just a lesson in energy. It's just a lesson in those energies. Now, the next one, we Byoji. So you're gonna put the Byoji here. The lesson here is that as this line closes, this line opens. So if you can see, there's just a little bit of a space here. It's not shoved all the way over. It's just about there so that this line is open for the finger jab. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we say Poxao, Byoji, Lap Chum Choi, Kam Da. Poxao, Byoji, Lap Chum Choi, Kam Da. The Byoji can score, or it can simply be a way to establish a connection here so that I can pull and hit and pin and hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're training, be very careful that they're not up by partner's eyes, because then they'll start to hesitate and twitch, and they won't feed you correct energy. If you're here and you're safe, then you can train with the energy. You can start to speed it up a little bit, and then as you go, they're not worried about getting hurt every time. So every time I shove that in, she's not worried about getting hurt. So if she does it, it's a Poxao, it's a BOG, Lap Chung Choi, so that's a straight punch. Poxao, BOG, Lap Chung Choi, again. Poxao, BOG, Lap Chung Choi, Now the next one, they call slant punch. The old JKD has the straight lead. Straight lead is a terrible punch, but it works. I've landed every one I've ever thrown. But it's a punch that originates in the center of your body, projects out as you twist your hip, and as it hits, it sort of turns with your body and comes back here, so you lash out this way. It's a slightly telegraphic blow. It's horrible on the back end because your hand ends over here and you're open for a counter strike. But in this instance, we're going to use this here because as you go 1, 2, we let this wind out here, back, and then pin everything together as we come back in. So it's Poxao, BOG, Lapsao slant punch, Gamsao da. It is misconstrued a lot of times as a hooking punch. So I've seen many people misconstrue this as a hook punch, and then they come here. It's not that. It comes from the center of the body, and my body is winding out this way. Then every part of my body that's turned there turns back to do the pin. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she does it, right? Make sure that you're only doing this with a classroom that is under control. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 basic traps, the Poxao with a Bongsao, Lapsa, Gamsao da. Poxao, Lapsa, Guachoi, Gamsao da. Poxao, BOG, Lap Chung Choi, Gamsao da. Poxao, BOG, Lapsao with the slant punch, and Gamsao da. Those are the first sort of basic energy lessons here in our trapping set. Now, moving on to one, this is actually the first in a later series called Chum Kiu. Chum Kiu just means literally the bridge. And what it is it's all on the front hand. I think it's important to have right as the very beginning because you're gonna meet people who are strong like this. So you trap, but it doesn't go anywhere. So you're gonna learn to pull and then pin and hit. So it is a Poxao da, but your energy is here on the outside arm. So I turn that and use it as a handle, Lapsao, and then Poxao da again. You can let them finish the trap, which would mean I just let her push it over at the end. So Poxao, Lapsao, Poxao. Then if she pushes it over, then you finish the trap. But it's 1, 2, 3. That's your trap here. Is 1 Poxao, 1 Lapsao, 1 Poxao. It's one way to handle that heavy forward energy here on the front hand is to just pull it. Here, we say when you're pushed, you pull. When you pulled, you pushed. So if this is sort of pushing like that, I'm going to pull her into that and then trap and hit into that one. So that's the last one on this sequence. Now, the last thing that we do with this, and this one's very important to me, she's going to do her trap, whatever trap she's working on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to swing and she's going to cover and hit. Then I'm going to swing on this side and she's going to cover and hit. We call it a day there. So if I trap 1, 2, 3, she's going to swing at me. I'm going to cover and hit, and then move on. This idea of covering and hitting is an acknowledgement that just because she got hit with 1 punch or 2 punches doesn't mean the fight is over. So we still are conscious that they're still viable and that they're going to start swinging at you. The reason the swing curves, or the reason a punch curves here, is because I'm dominating the center line. There's no reason for her to go up the center line. So if she goes here, I'm going to stay there and stay there. If you do the trap, any trap, doesn't matter which one you're working, but just have your students swing once, swing twice. Could be left, right, left, 2 on one side, doesn't matter. So she does a trap, 1, 2, 3, swing on that side, swing on that side. That concludes the first set, or what we call level 1, Poxao, Lapsao, if you want to call it that, but it's the first set of sort of energy ideas for the Jun Fan JKD.